Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're making a grab and go breakfast muffin. Now I know a lot of y'all are saying, aren't all muffins a grab and go breakfast? Well, they kind of are, but what we're making today is a muffin that has all the basic elements of a real country breakfast. I've got a pound of sausage that I have fried and crumbled up in small pieces, 6 eggs that I scrambled. I just seasoned them with a little salt and pepper and broke those up in small pieces, and I've got a cup of cheddar cheese. Now you can use any shredded cheese in this you want to. I've got about 2/3 of it that I'm going to put in my batter, and then I'm going to save about 1/3 of a cup of my cheese to top each muffin with. Now my muffin batter, I've got 2 1/4 cups of self-rising flour. If all you have is plain flour, you want to add a tablespoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt to that, and that'll give you the same thing. I've got 1/2 cup of melted butter, 1/2 cup of milk, any milk at all will work, 2 eggs, and I have 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Now we want to give this kind of a flavor between like a pancake and a muffin and a biscuit. We want to kind of have all those flavors in there so you really get that country breakfast that you can grab in your hand and run out the door. If you don't have the maple syrup, you can just use 1/3 cup of regular table sugar, or you can leave it out altogether. It's up to you. But that little hint of sweetness really gives you that feel of a muffin, because you are eating a muffin. You're not, eating the whole country breakfast spread out. And those of you who have been with my channel for a while, you're going to notice that this is a little bit different than how I normally do my videos. Normally I do every single thing, frying the sausage and the eggs and everything. But I'm doing this for back to school. I know there's a lot of you mamas out there that are trying to get all them kids ready for the first day of school, which is coming up here in just a few days for us and within a week or two for everybody, I guess. And things are hectic. So you can make these on a Sunday night, put them in the fridge, and the kids can grab them and warm them up in just a few seconds in the microwave and have a real breakfast before they leave that don't take you all morning. When you've only got 5 minutes to get them out the door, you can warm these up and get them out the door with breakfast. I'm going to put my flour in my bowl here. And these are super easy to mix up. You don't need no special tools. You don't have to get out the mixer or nothing like that. You can sift your flour if you want to, but I find with adding all this sausage and egg and cheese to it, it really doesn't make any difference whatsoever in the texture. Beat your eggs up a little bit before you add them in. And then pour in your milk and your maple syrup. All right, and then go ahead and add your butter. You do want your butter melted. If it's not melted, it's not going to mix in, and then you're going to have lumps of butter, and that just don't give you the right texture. Okay, and we just want to kind of fold this together before we add all of our other stuff. You can make these in other flavors, and we may do another grab and go breakfast muffin. This is kind of the country breakfast version. If you are brand new in the kitchen and you don't know how to do the scrambled eggs and you've never fried sausage, I'm going to put some links in the description of this video. I did do a scrambled egg video for new cooks a few years ago, and you can go watch that before you make these if you need to. And I'm also going to put a link to the sausage gravy video, because in that video I fried up some sausage and busted it up just like I did this. So if you need to see that process, I'll link those videos. And for those of y'all who don't, you're going to love this video, because it's not going to take you 45 minutes to get this recipe. Now I'm just going to add in all of my breakfast stuff here that I've cooked. You do want to make sure you drain your sausage pretty good. If you don't, it's going to make your muffins greasy, because we already have the butter in there, and we also have the cheese in there, which usually has quite a bit of fat in it. So drain your sausage pretty good before you put it in here. And now we're just going to fold this together. And it's going to be kind of hard to mix. It's going to be thick. You do want to make sure you get everything evenly distributed in your batter before you start scooping out your muffins, because you don't want some of them that have just loose eggs and sausage in them, and some of them that just have batter and don't have any eggs and sausage in it. I will also, in the description of this video, I'll put the link to a few other kinds of muffins, because muffins are great for breakfast and they can be made ahead of time. Some banana nut muffins and pumpkin muffins, because it's about that time of the year again too. Some blueberry muffins. So you've got some different stuff, and we will probably do another grab and go breakfast muffin. A little bit later we'll do one with some bacon and stuff in it, but you can substitute obviously bacon for the sausage and do it just like this, only use crumbled bacon. And you can add hash browns in them too if you want to, but you don't have, you know, just whatever. Play with it, have fun with it. You've got the basic batter recipe, and add in your own breakfast stuff. You could also do some sauteed peppers and onions in here, and maybe diced ham. When I make these, they usually make anywhere from 15 to 18 muffins. You either want to grease or line your muffin tins. You can do either one. And this recipe would be really good for the holidays too. You could use holiday muffin cups, you know, like make up a big batch before Christmas time and just put them in the freezer, or before Thanksgiving when you're going to have company, and use you some holiday muffin cups, and then you can just take them out of the freezer and thaw them out. You can warm them, if you're going to do a big bunch of them, warm them in the oven, and everybody will think you got up at 5 a.m. and made them. I'm not real particular when I divide mine up. I'm making them at home. Obviously, if you were doing them in a commercial kitchen or something, you'd have to use some kind of portioner so that they were all about the same size. But when you're doing them at home, you know, if somebody gets a little muffin, so what? They can eat another one if they want it. If you want them exact, you can use a scoop and portion them out exactly, or you could use maybe like a 1/4 of a cup measuring cup. I fill mine between 3/4 of the way full and all the way full. It just kind of depends on how much comes out in the spoon. These would also be really good for hunting season. You could mix up a batch and you wouldn't have to get up at 5 a.m. if you weren't going hunting. They could just stick them in the microwave and take off with them. And a couple of them are little and a couple of them are big, but like I said, that's okay. You can bake these in any size muffin tin you want to too. You could make them in the big muffin tins if you were making them for hunting season for the fellers to take out, or you could even do them in the little bitty muffin tins. But we are going to bake these in a preheated 400-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. It's going to kind of depend on how big they are and your oven. Every oven is a little bit different. You want to bake them until they're firm to the touch. You know, they'll bounce back a little bit and set well. You don't want them to be soggy, and they're not going to be soggy once they're cooked. Like I said, the texture is kind of between a pancake, a muffin, and a biscuit. And that's the flavor you're going to get too, kind of between a pancake, a muffin, and a biscuit. If you leave out the maple syrup or the sugar, it's going to taste more like a biscuit. So if you want it to taste more like a biscuit, leave that out. But because it has the egg in there, it's going to have a slightly fluffier texture. Biscuits don't have eggs normally. All right, once you got a little sprinkle on the top of each one of them, I've run out of little sprinkles. Then we're going to stick them in the 400-degree oven for, like I said, about 12 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven. Now, in 12 to 15 minutes, this is what's going to come out of the oven. They're going to rise up, and you see they look like muffins with a little bit of cheese on top. You should have that bounce back, but they should be pretty firm. You do want to let them sit in your muffin pan for about 5 minutes before you take them out. You don't want to pull them out right now. Let them sit and cool in a pan for about 5 minutes. That'll give that cheese time to set up, and it'll let the muffin batter that we made to go in there kind of rest a little bit so it won't fall all to pieces when the kids try to eat them. Like I said, you can mix these up on a Sunday night, bake them, put them in a bag in the refrigerator, let them cool down before you put them in the refrigerator. Let them completely cool. You can seal them up in an airtight bowl or a bag. Keep them in the refrigerator for about a week. If you live alone and you want to make these, you can keep them in the freezer sealed up for a couple of months. So you can make a batch of these and actually have breakfast instead of just some kind of something out of a packet or some kind of microwave meal or something. These are really easy, really quick, pretty inexpensive to make, and they do hold well. They reheat well, they freeze. Just let them cool before you freeze them. And that's all there is to it. They are fluffy, they are filling, and they are absolutely delicious. Before we go, I want to leave y'all, especially you mamas, with Isaiah 54:13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In this chaotic world, teach your children about the Lord so that they can know and understand His peace. I mean, that's something we all need more of, and when you teach them, your peace will grow in the Lord. Thank y'all so much for joining us in the Hillbilly Kitchen. If you have not already, please don't forget to click like and subscribe before you leave. And until next time, remember to put God first.